Welcome to this episode of DIY3DTech.com. This episode, I'm going to show you this. I whipped this up in Tinkercad and printed it out on the Creality CR10. What is it, you might ask? Well, if I back up a little bit, one of my most popular designs out of all probably 60, 70 designs on Thingiverse is actually a carrier or a caddy for the Amazon Echo Dot. And so I thought that was pretty cool, but I wanted to do something a little bit different. And I wanted to experiment with a little bit more organic shapes, if you will. So I whipped up this. Sort of a little bit maybe Pacific Rim inspired. You know, you have to build monsters to combat monsters. So I wanted to have something that was sort of modern, industrial looking. So I came up with this concept. So it's actually pretty simple. It's about 5 millimeters thick, so it's pretty resilient. I did it with about 10% infill. You don't need a lot because it's really not handling a lot. You just want it to be sturdy. Now, one of the things, this is a sort of lock fit where the two go together. And one of the things, this needs to be tight. So I made this tight. So one of the things you may have to do is take a file, or like if you look in a prior video, this cleanup tool to clean up some of the insides of this by filing this down, or kind of cleaning out the burrs with this, depending upon the plastic you're using. Because what happens is, this is the base, so what we do is we take one of the feet and then it just interlocks with a little bit of force into that base. And then what we do is we sort of keep repeating. And then what I'm going to do is take this top one before I put the third one on. And I sort of want the look to remain the same, so I'm going to push this in here. This is going to get a little bit more difficult, and we're going to spin this back, and we're going to push this in here, and we're going to push that one in there, so those are tight. And now we're going to put our last one in place, and we're going to push these until they come in place, and there you go. So I'll show you a little bit better on look of it, but you know, basically it's a spider, robot, rocket, whatever you want to call it, and the Echo Dot sits in there. So let's take a little bit of a look at this, say on a table. So as you can see from the pictures, this actually turned out to be pretty cool. Now, it doesn't exactly go with my wife's decor, but you know, I like the monster look or the spider look, or just the simple organic look. And you know, the fact I left it open here in the bottom, so the acoustics are pretty good. You could probably, and maybe I'll whip up something a little bit different for acoustics, but again, sitting on this piece is going to leave this mostly open down here for so you get better audio too, rather than it just sitting on the table. And again, this pretty much sits flush, except the ring is up a little bit here, so you can kind of pop it out for this. So it looks kind of like all put together. Now, one of the other things, well, I'm not going to do it. You know, one of the things I am a big fan of is that stone finishing. This would look really cool, stone finish. What I would suggest doing is taking some tape, putting some tape around here, because you don't want it in here because it's a very snug fit going in. You might have to actually ream it a little bit to get it to fit, because you know, want it so it doesn't, you know, tip over. But if you did this in like a stone finish, I mean, nobody would ever know it was 3D printed. So, and again, you could come up with different colors, things like that. I'll put the files out on Thingiverse for this, so you can make one of your own if you want it. And hey, if you found this interesting, make sure you give it a thumbs up over there. Don't forget Swag Shop. Let me know in the comments what you think. Does it look more like a spider or a robot? I don't know. I've been trying to figure that one out. So anyways, thumbs up. We'll see you in the next video. Cheers.
Please click like below and subscribe to the channel if you are up to date.